Why does Ambush Bug think that Superman is a villain?
I don't know.
Because he heard him being called the Man of Steel.
Oh, gosh.
You found the greatest DC comic show on YouTube. You found Fanboys Live in the Retro Review. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We're so happy that you're here. I am Ryan, Magic Lasso, a sticker person. One of my co-hosts is Comic Food 2814, a sticker person. Hi, how are you?
I'm good.
Good. How was your week?
It was good. What is this sticker person?
Oh, you don't know about the sticker person, huh?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I am one though, huh?
You are one. I'm one too. So
okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. I got a text from you this week.
What?
You texted me this week.
Okay.
Do you remember what you said?
I do not.
You don't remember what you said. Does this jog your memory?
Oh boy. Here we go.
Does that jog your memory?
Fu is a furry?
Yeah, you texted that to me this week.
Oh, yes, I did.
And sometimes that's all you have to say.
Whatever.
Hey, you want to see something else? Antonio isn't here yet, but you want to see something else?
Sure. Yes. Yes.
Shh. He doesn't watch the rewind. He never attends the pre-show meetings.
Nope.
So, shh. Let's say.
I like.
Oh, go ahead. You like that? You like where I'm going with that?
I see. Yes.
Yeah. I've got 6 of the 8 so far. Of the 8 different characters that Burger King has released. You might remember a few weeks ago I was talking about this.
Oh, yeah.
I've gotten 6 of the 8 so far.
Very nice. Wow.
But I think it was a huge mistake that they did not, because at least mine in my area, they seem to get 2 at a time.
Okay.
I can't believe that they didn't put Joker and Harley together on the same week.
I doubt Burger King thinks it through to that extent.
That's what everyone's been saying. They're like, that would require them to have put some thought into that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They probably don't have the slightest clue.
Probably not. But. And welcoming also to the show right now, Signature King Antonio, a sticker person.
Hello.
How are you?
Wonderful.
I see your antenna's up tonight.
It is. You know, I get better reception when the
you get better reception?
Yeah.
That's awesome. How was your week?
Crazy. I don't think this week technically stopped. So it's just a continuation this weekend into next week. So it's crazy busy week for
crazy shaking.
Well, they had that big Harley Quinn convention this week, you know.
Yeah, they asked me to set up a panel. I declined.
Because you keep your Harley cosplay secrets to yourself.
You know me too well.
I do. Yeah. Let's say hello to some awesome folks who have joined us in the chat. One of the hosts of Omni X-men is John's Comics with Kids, and he was first in the chat. John this week will be a host of Avengers vs. JLA, episode number 4, with myself. Will be on John's channel this Wednesday night, the 14th. And it's going to be at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. So it will be Avengers issue 4, where Captain America joins, versus Justice League of America issue 4, where Green Arrow joins. And one will win, we'll find out. Let's say a big muabunga to our friend Ruben, White Tiger, cool, calm, collected, White Wrench. It's great to have you stopping by. We have a big Deadman fan here with us right now, and potentially a future guest on the Fanboy show too. It's Old Wolf 65. Hi Tony, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
We have I Collect a Lot with us. Nice to have you here. Kenneth Bird. Nice, always great to have you stopping by. And Old Wolf, Supergirl and the Joker are the two right now that haven't come into my area. So we'll see what happens. And it's always an awesome fanboy show when Ben Compton shows up to say hi to us. So we certainly appreciate you watching, and we'll salute some more folks as they pop in. If you're watching on the Rewind, welcome as well. It's great to have you here. Later on in the show, we'll be answering the question, is Ambush Bug the DC version of Deadpool? So that's what we're going to try to figure out tonight. So hang tight for that. Oh, you got a Supergirl up there, huh? Okay. So let's start into some DC Comics news. What is going on?
Crickets, absolute crickets. It's so quiet. Now they finished up filming a Superman movie. We talked about it last week, but other than that, I mean, it's real quiet. Not even any speculation or anything.
I did see a few things on the comic book side. The DC Universe by Steve Ditko is going to be an omnibus that will be coming out in 2025. And it's a lot of his work from many different titles. I was looking through some of the stuff that it includes. It has stories from Detective Comics, Legends of the DC Universe, A.G. Page Giant, Tales of the New Gods, House of Secrets, World's Finest Adventure Showcase, Superman, House of Mystery, Spectre, Beware the Creeper, the Canceled Comics Cavalcade, Strange Adventures, Legion of Superheroes, Secrets of the Haunted House, Weird War Tales, Ghosts, Mystery in Space, Time Warp, Amazing World of DC Comics, The Outsiders, Hawk and Dove, Man Bat, and more, plus behind the scenes. So that will be a pretty cool omnibus, it sounds like. That is scheduled to drop, I believe, in May of next year. June 10th of next year. And it's going to clock in at 1,168 pages for $125 MSR.
Not bad.
Considering how much you're getting.
Oh yeah, ton of meat. I'll have to let the state library know because they collect all things Steve Ditko.
Oh, because he's from the state, right?
Yep.
Yeah. They need to have that for their collection then.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. What else did I see? So, last week we were talking about the Absolutes. Absolute Superman's cape is going to be made out of Krypton dust. What are your thoughts on that panel?
Made out of Krypton dust.
Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts?
Does that make him weak? Is it like kryptonite?
It's red, so
I don't understand how you make a cape out of dust.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't get it either. I mean, that's cool, but I mean, is that supposed to somehow affect him or a story?
Well, remember, this is like a whole new, there's Batman has no wealth, Superman has no family, Wonder Woman has no island. So they say his cape is going to be made up of dust. And while we're speaking of the topic of Superman, hello to Glenn Seeking Superman. Great to have you here. Oh, it must be one of those cosplayers calling.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't make much sense to me what they're doing right now.
Yeah, I'm not sure how they're going to pull that off, or if it's just made out of dust just to say that it's made out of dust, cool, I guess, but it'd be kind of silly if it was that way and didn't affect him in some kind of one way or another.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know. They have to explain it to me.
I never wondered what Superman's cape was made of before.
Yeah, right.
So,
was it?
I always thought it was made of the cloth that he was wrapped in as a baby in the rocket ship.
Right.
His entire costume was.
Right, but I never questioned the fabric.
The material,
Was it 25% polyester? And
how can you take it? Is it dry clean only?
I never questioned that. So shame on me.
He flies it into the sun. That burns off all the stains.
I actually heard that. I've heard them say that he has to fly into the sun to clean his costume.
Yeah.
I don't know. Weird. Is it sustainably sourced? The materials.
Well, not if it's made of Krypton dust. I mean, they're not making any more of that.
Yeah, probably not. How does it
Quite
hold
rare.
together? Is it glue? Is it paste? Is it?
I don't know.
What happens if it gets wet? Does it clump together?
Yeah, does it clump together?
Yeah, so many questions. Scott
Yeah,
Snyder is not really helping.
Clearly, DC writers need to talk to the fanboys before they commit to these things.
They don't show up to the pre-show meetings either.
No.
Which is sad. They should. They could get so
should.
many better stories by showing up to our pre-show meetings.
Yeah.
True, they could, but they would also probably leave with a lot more questions.
We do.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, geez.
So, you know those really cool artist editions? Those are the oversized books that reprint the original pages of artwork.
Yep.
Okay.
Like almost like in true scale size, because you know the old artwork is drawn a lot bigger than the comic book size.
Scale it down. Yeah.
Yeah. So they've got a Jack Kirby Mr. Miracle artist edition scheduled for May of next year. 200 pages at $150 MSR. This will collect 7 near complete Mr. Miracle stories, including issues 2 through 3 and 5 through 9 and more. So it scans of all. They say it's the closest you can get to owning the original artwork without owning the original artwork. So I think those are so cool. I wish they would do one for George Perez Wonder Woman. I think that would be so awesome.
Yeah. I'd rather own the original artwork.
I would too, but that's not in the budget right now.
Daddy Warbucks down there.
Yeah, exactly.
Me, I'd just rather own the artwork.
Yeah.
I don't think I own any original art. I don't own one page of anything. I have a couple of sketches. Yeah, I know Lasso does.
Mm-hmm.
I have one piece, and it's my first appearance in comics.
Nice.
Yeah.
I know someone that has the first page of The Muppet Babies. Issue 1.
Who's that?
Someone not a part of the YouTube comic community.
Oh, okay.
But you know, involved in my local comic shop, and I saw it and I was like, wasn't aware they made a comic book for the Muppet Babies, and 2, how did you get the first page?
Yeah. Wow.
I'm glad I got my original artwork when I did, because it's nowhere in budget anymore.
Yeah.
So I would guess the cover that I own, the Wonder Woman cover I own, which is a Rich Buckler cover, and it's Wonder Woman and Cheetah. I mean, I'm just putting a guesstimate on this thing, okay?
Sure.
It's got to be somewhere between, and this is a little bit of a wide range, but at least $4,000 to $8,000 that page would sell for now, if I would sell it, which I won't. And I mean, I didn't even pay $1,000 for it, you know. But I've had it for a long time, and money was different back then.
Right.
All right, I'll trade you that book.
No.
For whatever I'm holding up here.
Nope.
You sure? It's cool.
Nope.
All right, your loss.
Your loss. Let's say meow to the Jackson Roykirk. Meow.
Give them life advice.
Now, did you guys also see that DC is doing some kind of crossover with Bugs Bunny?
Yeah, there's something about the shared universe or something, right?
Yeah, Bugs Bunny is going to be taking on the role of Batman. You've got the Tasmanian Devil as Robin.
Why wouldn't he be Roadrunner's probably the Flash.
No. Oh, get this. And Shaggy from Scooby-Doo is Superman. But everybody else is themselves.
I get it. I remember what you're talking about now. Yeah. It's the multiverses comic book. Yeah. Interesting concept.
Hey, at least there's not a Green Lantern variant that I have to go collect now, so I'm happy.
There will be. There will be.
No.
He's in the game, so why wouldn't he be in the book?
Oh no.
What if there's an absolute Green Lantern title that starts? Are you getting it?
Of course, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, are you getting every cover?
Yeah, I guess.
Right now, DC is watching, and they're writing it down right now. Absolute.
I'm not happy about it, though.
Well, who is happy about it?
Yeah.
I'm happy about it. I mean, I don't collect
Daddy
every
Warbucks
color.
down there is the only one that's happy.
Yeah, right.
I'm only
Exactly.
collecting one. I'm getting one copy. I'm not getting the whole library. I'm not doing that. Spending the $5.
He's the one voting for it, and then he doesn't buy them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the guy who I know I'm not going to lose or win the bid, but I keep bidding just so the other guy has to pay more money.
Exactly.
Hey, Cliff.
Yeah.
That's me.
That,
Hey,
you're
Cliff, how
that
you doing?
guy.
You know what that reminds me of, what you guys are talking about? It's like comic book collectors that start petitioning a company to make foils out of a certain character that they haven't made foils of yet. So, because their friend collects that
I
character.
gotta go.
And then, yeah. And then they go, oh, okay, we'll make a logo foil. And then we'll sell it for $450 because it's going to be signed by an actress who played her.
Hey,
And then I start getting the apology texts in the group. I'm sorry, I didn't know it was going to be $450.
I think
Any of this
that
sound
we
familiar?
created an opportunity, and it was yours to, seize.
Well-
Seize seems like the operative word there.
One thing I never understood about that is why they only gave, not that Wonder Woman isn't deserving, but why did they only do that with Wonder Woman? Why didn't they get like Michael Keaton to do the Batman? You know what I mean? Or another Superman, Brandon Roth to do Superman. You know what I mean? They just did Linda Carter. Wonder
Well,
Woman.
in all fairness, Linda Carter wasn't making and still doesn't do convention appearances where she signs, to the public. And this was like the first time she had ever committed to a private signing either. So that was kind of a huge deal, in all fairness. So
Okay.
I want to say hi to
Well, I'm glad
K-Pop
we
Junkie.
make that happen for you.
You didn't make it happen for me because I didn't get it. I got the regular book and I didn't get the signed one
Do you
because
know
nobody
anyone that got
funded
it?
me.
We created the opportunity.
Hey, we
Yeah.
brought
You created the opportunity for tears. That's what you created. Streaming down the face. Take a good look at my face. The smile seems out of place. If you look closer, you can trace the tracks of my tears.
Oh gosh.
Hey, man.
Up until that day, he could say that he owned all the variants, and then
He's still
Well, I
can.
own the
He still
variant. I
can,
just don't
yeah.
have the signed variant.
I'll sign
There's
it
a
for you.
difference.
Just send it to me.
I'll sign it for you.
Well,
I'll
thank
sign it.
Are you feeling guilty at all, Tony?
Oh,
Yeah.
not at all. None.
No,
Zero.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
If
In
anything,
fact-
it's Tim's fault.
Yeah, hell yeah.
It's definitely
actually
Tim's fault.
he was the one who put that on the burner, and then
He did.
He did.
Well, if you recall his conversation with said company, they had, before it got nasty, a really nice casual back and forth about
And then it got
future
nasty.
projects.
And then it got nasty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that was one of the seeds that he had planted with that company.
it was,
And he matured it and watched it grow.
He did.
and then said, "Here you go,"
And then left.
yeah, and then left, and then got mad.
Yeah.
Not
And
at
to
us.
be
but
fair, I just thought I was supporting a friend, so I was just.
I didn't
backing
want
him
it.
up.
What was
Well,
I?
no,
What
I
was
mean-
I saying in the chat the entire time? Don't want it. Don't need it.
Well, I mean, yeah, but we knew
Yeah.
that's not what you meant.
That is what I meant.
It was not what your heart was saying.
It
Right.
was.
Sometimes your friends know what's best.
A simple thank you will just go a long way.
Exactly.
You're welcome. Because otherwise, you never even get the opportunity.
Right.
I got
But
one
now-
more piece. I
now
got
you-
one.
Go ahead.
I got one more piece of news.
Sure.
DC versus Marvel Omnibus delayed again. Second delay now, because originally it was supposed to come out this past week. Then they announced it would be moved to, I think, September 24th. Now they're saying October 8th. No reason is given why it's being delayed, and DC is delaying a couple other things as well, but delayed again.
It's only like a week, isn't it?
No, it's a
28th?
couple weeks.
Okay.
It's a couple weeks. So
Well, not that bad.
No.
At least it's not the Jeff Johns trying to finish this last
JSA.
issue. JSA.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
been a year and a half in the making.
Yeah, which wasn't supposed to be a limited series.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, whatever.
So we're going green for our retro review tonight. Comic Food 2814, you picked the book last week, and tell us why you chose this character or the stories that we're going to feature tonight.
Okay, so tonight we are going to be reviewing Ambush Bug. And this is a character that, to be honest, I wasn't introduced to until rather later. Now it's probably been, I don't know, 10 years or so. But I was first introduced to him as part of the DC Universe online game. It was the massively multiplayer online role-playing game that DC came out with. And the first few expansions were actually quite fun, right? You would go on raids with I think it was 20 people or something.
Super fun, yeah.
Yeah, it was so much fun. And you got to learn a lot about the DC universe throughout the game. You got to go to the different places within the universe, right? And it was so interesting, fighting all of the bosses and stuff in their area. And as you would go on these different missions, think back to even Nintendo had this, right? There's always a secret in a game, and you can beat the level and never expose that secret. But if you feel like going above and beyond, even Zelda, remember, you could go find those hidden things. This game had that too in the raids, and the hidden Easter egg was Ambush Bug. So sometimes you could because you had powers in the game, where you could jump really high or climb walls and stuff or fly, and he would be hanging out in the rafters of a warehouse or something, and you always have something funny to say. So ever since discovering him there, I would go out and I would collect the different appearances, and it seems that and I never really read him, to be fair. I just knew him from the game, and I thought he was kind of a funny character. But he seems to be most kind of associated with Superman, right? And
Yeah.
so that's the book we're going to start out with here tonight. I think this is the earliest story chronologically. This is Action Comics 560, right? So of course I got my issue here, and there's actually 3 issues in this series. There's also, so that was 560. There's 563, and then Lasso, you're gonna love this cover. 565 is the classic kind of cover with Wonder Woman there. There you go. All right. Did I steal your book show?
No, I have some alternatives.
Okay. So I figured let's learn about this character together and have some fun with it.
So
and you are
I think,
spot on with the Deadpool reference.
yeah, that's what I was going to say. He breaks the fourth wall, and there's some things that are similar to Deadpool, but this character actually came out first.
Oh yeah, he predates him by a good 5 to 6 years. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we'll start out, and I'll do the review. We're going to start out with the second story because Ambush Bug isn't in the first story. So if you want to scroll down, right past the letter column is where the story starts. And while you're doing that, I'll let you know that we're starting out our story tonight from 1984. It's a Paul Kupperberg written story.
Oh gosh, it's way down there, isn't it?
Yep, there we go. So we're starting out with Ambush Bug. People are walking outside of A-Bug Enterprises. Superheroes are specialty. And he is inside singing. He's got his apron on and he's cleaning up the place when someone comes knocking on the door. And he's like, "My first client, thank Rao." And it's Clark Kent. And he's like, "I can't believe Arkham Asylum let this fruit fly loose." So he says, "Take a seat. One of our counselors will be with you in a moment." And he's like, "Well, if you're Ambush Bug, I'm here to see you." And he changes into his detective outfit. And he's like, he kind of takes on the detective persona. And he's like, "Okay, talk, Four Eyes. What do you want? What do you want with my receptionist?" And he's like, "Well, I'm Clark Kent, and I've come to interview you for." He's like, "Hold it. I forgot to put my feet on the desk." So like a true detective, he does that. And he's like, "So let's get this straight. You want me to tail your wife and find out where she's getting all this extra grocery money?" And he's like, "Wait a minute. I think I know that peckish profile. He's like, isn't that Jean-Claude Soupy behind those, Foster Grants? And he's like, you're not the first person to comment a resemblance. And he's like, well, if you're not Superman, how come your skin's so clear? And he's like, well, I'm an anchor man. I'm in the public, so I dab a little Clearasil on my trouble spots. And he's like, how come your glasses don't melt when you use your heat vision? And he's like, gee, look at the time. This has been fun. We'll have to do again real soon, but I need to leave. I'll give you a call. And Ambush Bug's like, he's not going to call. I don't have a telephone. And he goes to grab him, and he grabs him by the cape. And of course, that kind of miffs Superman off just a little bit. And at the same time, he's like, I believe you, I believe you not, I believe you. And he grabs a hold of his hair, pulls it down, and makes that classic Superman curl that you're used to seeing. And he starts laughing because he has fully exposed Clark Kent as Superman. And he says, Soups, I'm going to make, I'm going to put all of our qualms aside and take you into the firm as a full partner. So you're going to have to keep your clothes picked up. And then Superman's had enough, and he is just, vamoosed, and he is flown away. And he's like, wow, I hired him, and he's already off on a case. That's pretty cool. So Superman has gone home, and in this next segment, Clark is dreaming to be what he thinks is Ambush Bug's origin. So there's Ambush Bug introducing himself as Erwin Schwab, and how he was raised by watching television. He was a big television addict. And what happened was his television broke. So he went to the library and started reading books and absorbing knowledge and absorbing everything that he could on the written word. And he truly became informed, and he no longer depended on television shows. And then he discovers, what he discovers crushes him: riots and murder and drugs, nuclear war, teenage hitchhikers. They say real life, Erwin realizes, is very much like the ABC movie of the week. If only he could turn back the clock, but it's too late. Erwin has become aware. Abandoning rationality, he opts for a clear-headed approach. So he shaves his head and makes himself this costume, and he says he will be a knight errant and rid the world of the social problems highest of the overnight Nielsen's. So the things that they talk about that gets the ratings in the TV show, that's what he's going to rid the world of. And he's like, no longer, he will be puny Erwin Schwab, but instead, live from Metropolis, here's Ambush Bug. And then please stand by. We are experiencing technical difficulties. Superman wakes up and he's like, oh, it was a dream. It was a bad dream. The only reason that I sleep at all is for my dreams. And now, this one kind of ruined it. That lunatic is going to ruin my life. I don't want to think about him anymore. He gets dressed as Superman and decides to fly out. But he's still thinking about Ambush Bug, and he doesn't know why. He opens up the newspaper, and he sees an ad for Ambush Bug. Go to other detective agencies, get their best deal, but don't sign a contract until you've been to Bug Enterprises. Their prices are insane. He's like, I'm getting on the elevator. I'm going to work. I feel good. And he's like, oh, what's the use? Ambush Bug. So over in Arkham Hospital, the director of Arkham, Bud Lipschitz, as being talked about Erwin Schwab, the Ambush Bug was one of his best patients. And the fact that he's out there starting up this detective agency, Arkham's kind of being questioned on it. They're like, why did you let him go? And they're like, well, the board approved his release unanimously. And they're like, how? He's like, well, what can I, I can get you, he says, I can get you Mark David Chapman or John Hinckley Jr., people who have, killed people in real life. And I might be able to swing Ted Bundy. And they're like, those are lightweights. With Ambush Bug, I had a sure shot at the cover of the American Medical Journal, but he wants Ambush Bug back so he could try to keep gaining fame off of rehabilitating him or diagnosing him or whatever he's doing, He's telling other patients that they're okay. He's telling the staff he's telling that the staff are the ones that are crazy. And he says he almost had me convinced. At one point, he was telling the Joker that he was mentally fine and all the problems that this guy was kind of causing inside of Arkham. But still, how he got released, to me, is still a mystery after reading the story. So we head back out onto the street. We have Ambush Bug out there. He's kind of singing and dancing his way. He's got a little makeshift cape going on. And he's going to solve some problems that are going on. And all of a sudden, he walks by a car and up pops, in the meter, the violation. The time is up. He's like, oh, a lawbreaker. I better be careful. This looks like he might try something. Go ahead and make my day. So what Ambush Bug does, as we cut over to the police station, he gets the police officer gets a little note. Another Buick brought to justice. Love forever, Ambush Bug. So he picked up the car and turned the car in and to the front steps of the police station because it was overdue on a parking ticket fine from a parking meter. So over at the Daily Planet building with WGBS, Clark Kent is at work. Ambush Bug arrives, and he is a samurai, an amazing jinsu, and he starts splitting stuff into, starting with Clark's typewriter, and he says, a typewriter may be the tool of your trade, Kent, but 3 years later, you still can't cook a chicken on it. Whatever the hell that means. So, and Clark's like, Bug, you're going to kill yourself with that sword if you're not careful. He's like, but I intend to die. That's why I can do anything. How do you like my new devil-may-care attitude? And he's like, well, it's been done to death. He's like, you don't catch my drift, Soups. I have pleaded a vow to commit Harry Carey at the end of my 6th episode. And Clark's like, I'm telling you that it's old news. They're like, well, now if you were to do it at the end of your 1st episode, he's like, sorry, Soups, but that's not in the cards. And Clark's like, well, why not? And he's like, do you really think if I was going to slice my body open, Giffen would hide me behind this door? And of course, Giffen is Keith Giffen, the writer of the story. And that's how it ends.
Crazy.
Yeah. Hello to our friend Cookie, Just a Little Podcast. I'm glad that you popped in to say hello. It's always good to see you. Hello to our friend James Warlord. Yep, you don't tug on Superman's cape. That is absolutely true.
Yeah, it's made of dust. It'll just
Yeah.
disintegrate in your hands.
Krypton does, yeah.
And we miss you too, James. It's always great to have you joining us. So, Fu, I think you got the next story that's up.
I do, and this is a wild one.
Okay.
Wow. All right, so this is Ambush Bug in his first title with Ambush Bug #1 from 1985.
Little cover swipe there of Superman #1.
Yes. And so while he was a detective in the last one, he's going to be a superhero in this one.
Yeah.
All right, so this starts out with this splash page. We've got the USS Entertainment. It is an alien vessel headed towards Earth from the planet Tedious. Life there is deadly dull because they have no comic book industry. So, of course, they are on their way to Earth, and watch out, everybody. They're coming for our comic books. Okay? All right. So we get a little note here from Ambush Bug. He's breaking the fourth wall here. Dear readers, since the aliens will be commandeering this copy of my first issue, you'll need to buy an extra one for yourself. Live long and prosper. I know I will. Ambush Bug. All right. So, and that actually has nothing to do with the entire rest of the story.
Surprise.
Surprise. So so here we go. Previously it was a bug detective, right? Now it's superheroes are our specialty. And they're talking about this space invasion coming for the comic books, although again it really has no point. The Ambush Bug has his psychiatrist is on the news saying he knew him better than anyone. He was on the board of directors at the asylum where they were deciding his case. And I told them he's psychotic, schizophrenic, he's pathological. And then the board voted for his immediate release. And so Ambush Bug is watching this and he's like, oh, interesting. He stood up for me. Okay. I always thought that guy hated my guts. especially after what I did to him with the fire hose. Who knows? Okay, so yeah, and oh, this is great. The guy on the news says, "I'm convinced that Ambush Bug has a massive psychosis." And Ambush Bug thinks to himself, "Darn right, none of my dates ever complained." So dumb. But okay, so he gets a phone call. He's like, "Hello," and somebody's trying to order a pizza to go. And he's like, "Oh, I got to get my number fixed." And you can see he's like plinking the little rings on the phone on the floor there, like the comic book ring. But so he starts talking to who's ever trying to order a pizza on the phone. He's like, "Okay, so you want to hire a detective? I can tell you're a serious man. I'll take your case." And the guy's just like, "I just want a large pizza, not too heavy on the cheese. The kids don't like cheese." And he's like, "Okay, so we're gonna tackle the deep six. Okay, I've got it right here. They're the ones who fought the new gods." He's like, "No, deep dish. I said deep dish." And at that moment, this truck goes crashing. I think it's a trash truck. And what looks like this person, or maybe a child, maybe even a baby, is coming crashing through Ambush Bug's window. And he goes up to find it, recognizes a deceased baby joke would not be in good form. And but instead, no, it's actually just a doll. Okay. It's a baby doll, but he takes it as real, and he kind of, what we're gonna see is he's gonna give it life throughout this episode, and he's going to make it his new his ward, basically his partner in fighting crime, and he names him Cheeks, the toy wonder. So we've got Ambush Bug's sidekick here, Cheeks. And he dresses up in this Superman-esque uniform, and he's like, they're going out to fight crime, right? The police are there, and he's like, "Here we go." And there's these terrorists that the police are after in this warehouse, and so Ambush Bug shows up to help. I'm not going to get into all the details because actually, believe it or not, it gets kind of political. So we'll skip over most of that, but basically the cops are negotiating with the terrorists to get them to come out. They've held this old woman hostage, and yeah, we're gonna jump through all of that. And Ambush Bug is paying attention to this entire negotiation, and he's like, "Someday you'll take my place, Cheeks. Then all this will be yours." Like, he's talking to this stupid doll the entire time. He's got him dressed up as in this uniform, and uh yeah, this warehouse is that the terrorists have taken over. They're threatening to detonate this bomb with nerve gas, but the cops there are like, "These idiots, like, the nerve gas is over in like warehouse 1. They took over warehouse 10, so it's not even going to do anything anyway." But meanwhile, Ambush Bug is jumping in there, and he throws uh he's talking to the doll. He's like, "There's a word for people like you know, gutsy." And he throws the doll at the guy and takes out this terrorist with Cheeks. And he's like, "Oh my god, it's the toy wonder." And Ambush Bug shows up. He's like, "Wait, I thought you were a detective, aren't you?" And so he takes these guys out. Again, he's doing the whole ventriloquist thing with Cheeks there. Uh, yeah, he takes him out. It's ridiculous. Then the guy finally realizes, like, "Wait, this is just a doll." So he kicks Cheeks, and Bug sees this, and he's like, he's a spunky little guy. Has a little of the devil in him. Sort of reminds me of myself as a young boy. And but he sees Cheeks go flying from the kick, and he's like, "Oh no, Daddy's here! Cheeks, speak to me!" Um, and I feared for the worst. You'll never see a 3D movie again because he lost one of his eyes. And of course, that makes him angry. This means war. So you get the whole Deadpool thing in all of this, right? And this is a good, like, what, 5 years before Deadpool. Um, But it's absolutely ridiculous. He's talking to this doll through the whole thing. There's this silly terrorist thing with political parties. He comes in with a bat then and takes the guy out. There's this whole like stupid joke with a pun on Spalding and of course the bat. They go to free the old woman, the hostage, right? And he's like, yeah, don't worry, Cheeks is defusing the bomb, right? And we see Cheeks down here with 5 seconds left, and of course the bomb goes off. Poor Cheeks. We get like 5 pages of marketing here, ambush bug marketing pages, so we'll skip through that. Oh, it's ridiculous. So we get back here. The bombing of that building. They're talking about that. They're ashes to ashes. They're having a little memorial for it. Congress approves this new nerve gas funding bill, and Ambush Bug is still sad that Cheeks is gone. He's like, I should never have let him to defuse that bomb all by himself. Like, this is so dumb. Especially after I read that warning label sewn onto his little foot. Caution, doll will defuse no bomb before it's time. I'm a failure as a father. There's only one thing left for me. Redundant self-pity. And so he starts like doing this spray paint thing. He starts hearing voices again that his guardian angel is always looking out for him. And he realizes he just really wants a pizza. And he's going to celebrate. The guy's like, "What are you celebrating, Mr. Ambush Bug? A birthday, a new job, a bar mitzvah?" And he's like, "The death of a partner." And here he's thinking of him. He's like, "You're up in heaven now, baby Cheeks. Your final resting place, your great reward, your journey's end, the undiscovered country from whose born traveler returns, the happy hunting grounds, the last roundup curtains passed away, shuffled off this mortal coil, given up the ghost, the deer departed, food for the worms." Those euphemisms are so comforting. Woo, what a day. I just want to get back to my cozy office and eat my deluxe pizza and relax. And he gets back to his apartment to eat his pizza, and who's waiting for him but Darkseid?
Dun, dun, dun.
There you go.
That's how your issue ends?
That's how it ends. Totally
Wow.
ridiculous. So
I just can't see Darkseid sitting patiently waiting.
I know. It's surprising, but yeah. R.I.P. Cheeks.
Yeah.
All right, on to you, Tony.
Okay.
You may have the best of them all.
I do not have the best of them all.
I've heard of Christmas in July, but tonight we be having Christmas in August.
That's right.
So I don't even know where to start with this one. This was not at all like I had to read it like 3 times. I still don't understand. Like it seems
the return of Cheeks.
There seems to be like story breaks, like where one story would end and another one would be. But I guess it's all one story. I don't know. So it's different from a lot. There are some similarities between my Ambush Bug story and your guys's, especially with the ads. There's some really good ones in there. And also, Ambush Bug teaches you, when I say you, I mean you as in the comic book artist and writer, how to draw and write comic books. So that's a lot of fun. Did you guys check this one out by chance?
I own this one, but I didn't reread it for tonight, so I haven't opened it up in a long time, but I do own this one.
Remember, this is a Christmas theme. And we start off, I'll skip the preambles here, but he ends up off having reminiscing about his time in Vietnam.
Of course.
During the Vietnam War. And the atrocities he committed and whatnot. But then he comes across an animal named Huka or Hucka. I'm not sure, but apparently there's 1,001 uses for a dead hucka, and this is use number 837. Attract flies and kill them. So
right.
if you're in the market for a hucka or wondering how to use a dead one, hey, there he's got. So in this particular part of the story, the hucka, he's telling about how the hucka died. The hucka was drinking out of the toilet. Ambush Bug didn't want him to do that, so they drew him out. And here he is doing his fourth wall breaking thing. You see Garfield in the background there. So your issues had just a little bit of fourth wall breaking. This Ambush Bug punches the fourth wall in this issue. It's pretty wild. The Night of the Living Doll. So it's kind of like a Frankenstein-esque version of how Cheeks could have come back to life. They're talking about going to get different types of chemicals, soak them in chemicals, and bring them back. And then who do we run into? DC's continuity cop saying you can't do that. Oh, man. So he pet cemeteries it. He goes to find Cheek's grave, right? To dig it up. And we find out here in this last panel, the coffin is missing. Let me zoom in a little bit. See, yeah, missing coffin. Where's Cheeks? And I don't know who the heck Cheeks was. So
now you do.
I had no context.
He's my new favorite character.
Yeah, him and Skeets. They should do a Cheeks and Skeets.
Oh.
I want to be the voice of Skeets.
Oh, man. DC, call me.
Right?
Oh, man. Cheeks and Skeets. Man, that's a good idea. I like it. That'd be so stupid. So anyway, he's going
Cheeks
down.
Wouldn't say much.
No, it'd be all Skeets. He'd be shooting off all data and analytical stuff, and no one knows what he's talking about. But anyway, so Ambush Bug knows that Cheeks' grave is missing, and he's going to the police station to talk about it. And he runs into continuity cop again. And then here's our first ad: How to Write Comic Books, Part 12. Subcontext made simple. I'm not going to read every panel, but he's telling the artists and writers how to make comics. We have our ad here for a horror comic, and then and this is the part where it gets confusing. So he thought he could just go buy one, right? Since Cheeks was a doll, and here comes little Cheeks. See, I didn't know who this was, so I thought this was another story, not Ambush Bug. But here we go. Cheeks the doll. Cheeks the doll is alive, and of all places, he's in Pittsburgh. Not sure why, but here he is. And people keep mistaking him for I don't even know who the heck is this cartoon.
Sugar and Spice.
Yes.
Sugar and Spice.
Yes, Sugar and Spice. Sugar and Spice. But this story skips around all the time. Every panel, they're doing something else. They're having conversations with continuity cop about Cheeks, Kid Psycho, and all the. There's a reference from right here on this panel right here. Guess who that is? That's the Teen Titans Tower. The T.
What does that do with Christmas?
Nothing.
And I see the
Nothing.
Legion of Superhero headquarters there on the page too.
Legion of Superheroes. I was trying to name them all here, but I don't know. We go to Ambush Bug on different Earths, which is interesting. Where'd that panel go? But here's a whole bunch of Cheek stuff. But look how the art changes every page. You know what I mean? It's different. So that's why I was like, is this a different story? The art is different. But anyway, it's all this is taking place on Christmas. And it's just one gigantic in my opinion, one gigantic ad for Ambush Bug. And here he is talking about Christmas around the world. And for some reason, they keep thinking that it's an American holiday. Alas, it is not. And nod to Superman here. So we cut to Krypton. It's just a bunch of asteroids. And apparently this says Merry Christmas.
First annual Fanboy Press.
Yeah, first annual Fanboy Press, where you can write in your favorites, your favorite writer, favorite penciler. Some of these are good ones. Favorite Keith Giffen plot, favorite Keith Giffen pencils, favorite Loren Fleming balloons, favorite Bob Oksner inks. Yeah. Favorite comic book company, favorite comic book company other, favorite superhero team, favorite mutant. Gosh.
Secret Wars tie-ins?
Yes. Favorite 15 Secret Wars tie-ins. Favorite editor-in-chief of a major comic book company. Favorite day in the life of Dick. Yeah, so many ads. Here's another one. You know, for super badass Santa Claus.
There you go.
It's all, this whole last part is just nothing but ads. There's no story to it. Like, literally, it's all like cartoons of like whatever Earth you would be on. So I mean, there's some story picks up here, but it's not. Excuse me,
Well,
it's
this is
not
perfect
related.
for you. You're the multiverse guy.
I'm the multiverse guy, and I knew who Ambush Bug was, but like this is even a story. You know what I mean? This is nothing. It's all ads for stuff. The true meaning of Christmas. The necktie. Yeah. Then we cut to the letters. So really strange. Very strange.
Happy that Cheeks is still alive.
Cheeks is alive. Cheeks and Skeets. Let's make it happen. I'm going to talk to Dan Jurgens on team at Baltimore Comic Con and say, hey.
There you go.
Make it happen.
Very nice. So
there you go.
Thoughts on these stories? Thoughts on Ambush? Well, let's just do thoughts on the stories first that we reviewed and give them a score.
0 out of 10 for mine. It makes absolutely no sense. It's not even a story. It's not even a story.
What about the other ones that we shared?
They were pretty good. I like those. You know, I can understand those who would like Deadpool would also enjoy Ambush Bug.
Okay.
But yeah, it's not for me.
Okay, Fu, your thoughts on the stories we reviewed and a grade.
I mean, the stories were terrible. They were awful, but the character is a 10. So yeah. I don't know how that balances. I mean, I'm with Tony at a 0, and I'm also at a 10. So it's just so stupid that it's funny.
Hey, and Nigel.
Therefore, I like
all the ads. The ads are pretty wild.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's fun and entertaining just to have this like little side thing out there that you know is stupid. You know what you're getting into, and it's good for a laugh. So in that way, it works.
Okay. Hey, Desire Comics, Nigel. Thanks for stopping by. For me,
and if you look at the covers on like the Action Comics, right? Like, I mean, it's not taking itself seriously, right? I mean, he's sitting here arm wrestling with Mixtelplix, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
For me, and I actually had to do a little bit of looking on this because, you know, my story gives us a proposed Ambush Bug origin. But it's not necessarily true that that's his origin. Supposedly there's about 7 different versions of his origin floating around that no one quite knows what the real origin is. Now, the one that I mostly remember that wasn't talked about, to my knowledge, in any of these stories, unless we happen to skip over it, that it had to do that Broom L of the planet Schwab sent his clothes from the supposed doomed planet, hoping that his wardrobe would survive, and it got intercepted by a giant radioactive space spider, who only had 2 articles of clothing: the Ambush Bug suit, which was found by Erwin Schwab, and Argyle, an Argyle sock with a metal mask. That's the more origin that I seem to remember of Ambush Bug. You know, which is so out there and so crazy. I'm with you guys. The stories make absolutely no sense, but from an entertaining value, these are 8s.
Yeah.
just from the entertaining value.
I'm just glad the character exists.
So 2 questions. And let's start with question number 1. Is Ambush Bug DC's version of Deadpool?
No, I would say Deadpool is Marvel's version of Ambush Bug.
Okay.
I want to say yes, but DC didn't do anything with them. Whereas Marvel did something.
That's my next question. Is that a mistake?
No. No, I don't mean. I mean to be facetious, but I mean at the time, you know, they didn't look at the Deadpool movie, first one that came out. Like I'm sure they didn't think all this fourth wall reference stuff would stick. You know what I mean? So I don't blame them for not necessarily doing anything. What are you supposed to do with a character who's self-aware that he's a comic book character? You know what I mean? How does that tie into Crisis on Infinite Earths? It doesn't.
I mean, Deadpool is kind of a special thing, right? So,
but hey, on the other side, in Marvel, She-Hulk knows that she's a comic book, that she's in a comic book.
Does she?
She does. When John Byrne, the Savage She-Hulk, the earlier one, she didn't. But Sensational She-Hulk knows that she's in a comic book. And she knows things like, she'll say things like, oh, at the end of issue 3, she'll say, issue 4 is next, so that means we have to have a guest star in it. Because she knows that issue 4 of a comic book always has a guest star.
Right.
Okay. I did not know that.
I think that this is DC's version of Deadpool. And with the success that they're having, they've missed the boat in not using Ambush Bug to its full potential.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's probably too late, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think it is.
Because they're just going to seem like it's, DC.
It definitely seems like the copycat,
off.
even though he isn't a copycat or a copy bug.
Yep.
Yeah, Deadpool's
once again, DC misses the boat.
They need to start coming to these pre-show meetings.
I know.
Well, they
I mean, think about it. Why did I say I
first?
got interested in the character? Because he was a silly little extra in a game. Like, I was picking up on it, and yeah, they just didn't.
I don't know how they could continue to miss the boat when they're the one building it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's an interesting character to say the least, but I can't imagine them doing anything remotely similar to Deadpool now. It's too late. They're just going to seem as a ripoff.
Yeah. And I want to say, was it New 52 or Rebirth? In one of those, they tried implementing Ambush Bug a little bit more into that universe, but I don't think anything really happened with it.
I don't recall. It must have been Rebirth.
I want to say that he was he doing news reports or something?
Oh,
yeah.
That was in Rebirth.
New 52.
That may have been New 52. Yeah. No, he did. Actually, wasn't that part of the Shazam stories, Tony?
Yeah, it was the backup to the backup story.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, it is weird. Weird character. But I get the appeal now that, Deadpool's popular. Maybe we could see Ambush Bug come to life more on the pages, not necessarily the big screen, but yeah, pretty interesting.
Okay.
All right.
So that wraps up our Ambush Bug retro review. We're going to get ready to go into the book show, but first let me tell you, if you have something Ambush Bug related that you would like to book show with us, share it on Instagram and use the hashtag Fanboys Live in the retro review. I actually posted an Ambush Bug last Sunday before the show, not knowing that we were going to do Ambush Bug tonight. So I've recently shared an Ambush Bug, a different cover, it was actually from the series that you had, Fu, but it was a different issue.
Okay. Yeah. I think
so I've recently posted that. Today I posted someone else that was green. I posted Changeling, aka the Beast Boy. So I stuck with the green theme today, but you can share with us on Instagram because we'd love to see what Ambush Bug you have in your collection that you want to share with us. So as we get started on the book show and talking about our channels and stuff, sticker person Comic Food 2814, you will go first.
All right. Well, I'm going to keep the Ambush Bug theme going. I've got DC Comics Presents number 52. And this is the first appearance of Ambush Bug.
Absolutely.
So there you go.
Don't you think that that's an underrated key?
Absolutely.
Because that's a very affordable book yet.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You can get that at like for $3.
And the character's a little bit different in that book and in his first couple appearances than the character ends up becoming. First of all, he starts out as a villain. Although he kind of, after a few appearances, switches to a hero, although some of the heroes, with how annoying he is and how he gets in the way, still consider him a little more villainous than hero. But in his mind, he becomes a hero, where back then he was just a villain to start out with. So, underrated key, I think.
Yep. DC Comics presents 52.
Cool. Up next for a book show and to talk about their channel is sticker person, Signature King Antonio.
Okay, so not this weekend, but the coming weekend is a local convention for me. 4 States Comic and PopCon. Super tiny. They only have a handful of guests, so I'm only getting a few different signatures. And let me share with you what I got going on here. So if you recall these BTC foils that we were just talking about.
I seem to remember us talking about those.
So I
think one of those were signed, right?
No.
By somebody famous? Not yours. I mean, one in the series.
Yeah. $450.
But unfortunately, I'm not bringing that one. I'm bringing these. Get them signed by artist Mike Hawthorne, who is also going to sign my Batman, Catwoman, Gotham War Hardlines issue 1 and Wonder Woman Evolution issue 1. And the only other person I'm going to see there is also Justin Jordan, who will tie up my Curse of Brimstone foil. So nice. Super foily weekend coming up. As to what's coming on the channels, I got some shorts. I'm going to talk about some more comic book signatures I'm getting at the con. So and Baltimore's right around the corner. Stay tuned if you are a big fan of Southern Comic Book Geek. Him and I are doing some cool stuff. So I'm not sure whose channel it's going to be on, but stay tuned.
Hey to Super Russ 9000 who's joining us here. Hope you're doing well. And Tony, you dropped a video on your channel too because I just watched it recently.
Yesterday. Yeah. Foils. Yeah. My new foils.
Foils. Yeah.
Yep. New foil collection. Yep.
Yeah. Cool. So I'll tell you what's going on my channel first before we do a book show, and I'll stick with the ambush bug theme as well. On the channel, already on the channel, is my back issue of the week YouTube short. And that did or has done incredibly well for me. Right around 450 views. So I was quite pleased with that. And it's talking about Dr. Doom. Then I did a comic book editions video, my regular video that comes out on Tuesday afternoons. That one this week is I'm stalling because I'm trying to remember exactly what I did. Oh, yes, I went to a comic show recently. And remember last week I showed that ISIS and I said it was a comic book and not a comic book at the same time. I showed that and some other things that I picked up at a comic show that I impulsively went to just a couple weeks ago. So that's what's on my channel already. Coming up on the channel, back issue of the week YouTube short. Superman will be seen in it, but it's not a Superman title per se, but it's in the Superman family, so to speak. That's going to be the back issue of the week tomorrow. Tuesday's video are some recent hauls that I've added into the collection. Just some good stuff, Marvel and DC, to share. I mentioned that on Wednesday, I'll be on John's Comics with Kids channel for episode 4 of Avengers vs. JLA. And then that's kind of where you can find me this upcoming week on the channel. So as for book show, showed this real briefly, like Fu did. I seem to have a fair healthy amount of Ambush Bug in my collection. Fu showed this, but I also have one of these too. First appearance of Ambush Bug. But I did pull one more book because I thought it is possible that someone could show these 2 books. But I picked one more book to show that no one showed yet. And it's one of my favorite Ambush Bug covers. And that is Supergirl, Volume 2, Issue 16. where Ambush Bug is looking at all of these different pictures of Superman and Supergirl, and he says, "Okay, I give up. Who's who?" He can't seem to tell them apart.
Nice.
So I just thought that was a fun cover to share today for a book show.
Now hold up your
stupid.
DC Presents again.
Yeah.
Yours is a little bit nicer than mine. You know why?
Is it that? Or is it just the
Yeah.
condition? Yeah.
You've got the direct, and that's an early direct.
Yeah, that is an early direct, and this is in pretty nice shape too.
Yeah. Wow.
I really lucked out on this one. So
Yeah.
got it at a really good price. I like the new Doom Patrol, which, if you remember, a long time ago, when one of the first fanboys that I ever picked out, we did the showcase comics with the new Doom Patrol. So this is one of their appearances after. So
Nice.
yeah, and I didn't end up getting that until just within the last couple years. I just kept thinking I could just see Ambush Bug getting some type of his own Max series or something, and that book eventually blowing up. So I'm like, but I like the new Doom Patrol anyway, and I like Ambush Bug, so it just seems like a winner to spend. I think I paid $6 for it, but it is in pretty high grade, so
Yeah.
it seemed like a winner. Hey to Bobby, who stopped by as we get ready to wrap up Fanboys. I will mention too that links to everyone's YouTube channel, including someone that doesn't seem to come to the show anymore, is in the description for this video. I don't think he watches the rewind either, but he loves us with all of his heart and his soul. But those are in the description for this video. And please subscribe to everyone and sub everyone up in the chat so we can keep growing this sticker community. Oh, Bobby likes Ambush Bug. That's awesome. So, Signature King, looks like your pick is coming up next week. What are you going to torture us with?
Oh man, I already have it.
What is it?
You're gonna love it.
Oh,
No, we're
Lord.
not.
Fu is actually going to love it.
What is it?
I was thinking we should do the first half of Green Lantern Oblivion.
What do you mean first half?
It's only 6 issues.
Yeah, but you notice that I never do multiple week stories?
No, just
okay.
the first half. Then
We're
we're
going to
done.
do the first half.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, leave it on a cliffhanger.
Okay.
We can't read all the stories. We
No,
gotta leave some for
sometimes
that.
we need to come back and revisit the second halves of stories we've started, though.
Nah, I'm good.
Okay. So which one are we doing? Green Lantern what?
Oblivion.
Oblivion. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Let's do it.
All right, that sounds like what we got lined up for next week's Fanboys Live and the Retro Review. Thank you to all of you who joined us in the live chat. Thank you if you watched on the rewind for making it all the way to the end. We hope you have a happy, healthy, and safe, successful week. This is the greatest DC comic show on YouTube. It's been Fanboys Live and the Retro Review. We'll catch you next week. Good night.